Hello and welcome to the HP 3PAR replication demo using remote copy synchronously over IP between two in-serve arrays. My name is Shane King and I would first like to acknowledge Jason Davis and Pat Ryan, without whose help this demo you're about to watch would not have been possible. In this demo we are going to imagine two sites, Site A and Site B. At Site A we will create a LUN called Site A _ LUN on the F400, and we will synchronously replicate that over IP to a LUN on the T400 called Site B _ LUN. We will then simulate a disaster. So we will assume that Site A has completely gone away. At that point we declare a disaster. We will make the Site B _ LUN writable, and you will see data being written from the Site B host. And then we will assume that we have Site A backup, and of course we would have written new data at Site B during the disaster. So this new data needs to be synced back to Site A. So we will show that, and therefore showing the Site A back to where we were at the beginning, but with the new data that was created on Site B. The first thing we need to do is to create the virtual volume, or LUN, at Site A. And we're going to call this LUN Site A _ LUN. We'll give it a size of 100 gigabytes. It will be thinly provisioned, and we will assign it a CPG called Gold Tier FC RAID 1. And we will then assign a CPG for the copy space, or snapshot area, called Silver Tier NL RAID 1. Once that LUN has been created, we want to export it to a host at Site A. So we right click, export, we choose the appropriate host, and that is the LUN exported. The next step is to go to that host at Site A, and what we'll do now is we will initialize that disk and write a text file into that LUN and seed some data into it. So you can see the Windows host has seen the disk. We'll create a new partition. It'll be on drive G, and we'll create a volume label called Site A _ LUN. So now we have our LUN presented as drive letter G. We'll create a simple text file just to seed Site A with some data, and we'll call this original file .txt, and we'll just put a little sentence in there This is an important document. We'll now set up Remote Copy. We'll choose a new configuration, and you have several options how to set this up, but we're just going to choose a one-to-one relationship. I'm just going to give the names of the source and the destination, the F400 and the T400, and to connect them is as simple as a drag and drop. So we're going to use two connections for resilience between the two in-serve arrays. I can ping them to make sure that they are communicating okay, and then we create a group. A group is essentially a template which can contain one or more LUN replication relationships. Here I'm choosing synchronous as opposed to periodic. And you can see it's the F400 backed up to the T400. And now we select a LUN or LUNs for that particular group. So I've taken site A underscore LUN, and I'm just going to create a new LUN for the target site. So I don't have to log in necessarily or go into the second site to do this. It's all from this screen. I'm going to create site B underscore LUN, assign it a CPG, and also a CPG for the copy space. So I add that in. You can see the relationship down here. And that's it. We now have Remote Copy set up. You can see it's started. If I actually select this particular group, then you will see below all the virtual volumes in that group. You can see it says it's already synced. The target is the T400. We will now assume a disaster has occurred at site A. To do that, we will stop the remote copy. So this will stop the remote site mirroring. And you can now see the state of that group is stopped. The next thing we need to do is to actually initiate a failover. And what this will do is make the secondary LUN, site B underscore LUN, the primary, and therefore read-writable. And you can see here the backup role is now the primary. So we go to the T400, we select site B underscore LUN, and we export that to a host at site B. So we're now in a disaster, and we are now relying on site B underscore LUN. If we go into Disk Manager, you can see the LUN is all ready to go. So we'll continue operations. You can see the original file that we created earlier at site A is intact. So I'll edit this document and save that one. So I've amended an existing file, and I'll also create a brand new file. Edit this one. And so operations are just continuing normally. Now we want to simulate the fact that site A is back on, and we want to recover site B LUN back to site A. So we want to get all those changes that we made during the disaster back at site A. So we allow this to take place, and you can see at the top we have now reverted back so that the primary site, or the F400, is now the primary. So we are now in the situation where site A is back, and we have synchronized our site B LUN back to site A LUN. So we're in a good situation now. Operations are resuming on site A. You can see the files that we had originally plus the new ones, thus showing that we have the delta changes back on site A. So I can create a new document now. Everything is good. And so everything is back to normal, and we are still now synchronizing to site B. So thank you for listening, and I hope you appreciate the simplicity of remote copy.